Ron DeSantis, getting back to Randy, driving along, and Ron DeSantis was asked, this is the new audio we have, this is not what we heard yesterday, but Ron DeSantis was asked by a reporter, because it's on the agenda of the news gathering institutions to sell you on the idea of climate change. And I so much appreciate the answer Ron DeSantis gave to the question, because it's everything you've ever heard on GL, only it's coming from someone who people might actually listen to. And I thought, seriously, I just thought, thank you, sir. Listen to this.
Tornadoes?
Yeah, it's increasing tornadoes.
I think you could go back and find tornadoes for all of human history for sure. And especially, Florida, how does this storm rate in kind of the history of storms? I think it hit with a barometric pressure of, what was it, about 950 millibars when it hit? Which I think if you go back to 1851, there's probably been 27 hurricanes that have had so the lower the barometric pressure, the stronger it is. I think there have been about 27 hurricanes that have had lower barometric pressure on landfall than Milton did. And of those, 17 occurred, I think, prior to 1960. And the most powerful hurricane on record since the 1850s in the state of Florida occurred in the 1930s, the Labor Day hurricane. Barometric pressure on that was 892 millibars. It totally wiped out the Keys. We've never seen anything like it, and that remains head and shoulders above any powerful hurricane that we've ever had in the state of Florida. The most deadly hurricane we've ever had was in 1928. The Okeechobee hurricane killed over 4,000 people. Fortunately, we aren't going to have anything close to that on this hurricane. But even ones like Ian, where you had, wasn't even close to that. So, I just think people should put this in perspective. They try to take different things that happen with tropical weather and act like it's something. There's nothing new under the sun. This is something that the state has dealt with for its entire history, and it's something that we'll continue to deal with. I think what's changed is we've got 23 million people. A storm that hits is likely to hit more people and property than it would have 100 years ago, and so the potential for that damage has grown. But what's also changed is our ability to do the prevention, to pre-stage the assets. I mean, we never did the pre-staging of power assets until I became governor. Now people expect that, but that wasn't what was done in the past. That's why people would be out with power for 3 weeks when we'd have hurricanes. We thought that that's not good. Now we have to pay to get these guys to come in, but my view is the quicker you get everyone hooked up, the better off the economy is going to be anyway. So why don't we just do that? Having the different search and rescue, having a state guard, all these different things are just bringing different tools to the fight, and it allows us to respond more effectively. So if we had the tools that we had in 1928 to fight an Ian or to fight some of these, you would have had higher death tolls. There's no question about that.
No, I want Ray of Hope. Where's Ray of Hope?
Here's today's Ray of Hope.
That's the most refreshing thing I've heard a politician say in ages.
Now, are they going to cover that?
Well, it was covered.
How's that being met?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the conventional news gathering institutions played that.
You're not going to see that on ABC News.
But he said a couple of things that just warmed my heart. He said there's nothing new under the sun. That goes back to the scripture we've been talking about. There is nothing new under the sun. And the second thing he said is the only difference is there are more people getting harmed. It's that simple.
In harm's way.
23 hurricanes or whatever the number was, he said, had lower barometric pressure than this one did. And they go back to 1850. Come on, people. Don't buy this climate change BS. You're setting yourself up for a world you're not going to like. And it's just so heartwarming to hear a guy just speak straight about it. Can you imagine what a lot of governors would have done? They would have jumped all over the chance to add on to the agenda that this is climate change and we must change our way of life and you shouldn't drive a car and on and on and on and on. When the truth is, Florida's been hit by hurricanes since the beginning of time.
Right.
And now people can't wait to fill every square inch of Florida with a place to live.
Boy, if you take the media at their word, he's the worst governor in the country.
Well, because he's a Republican.
They hate him.
I wish he was running for president.
Yeah, he seems really grounded.
He is terribly grounded. He's terribly bright. And he that wasn't me having to say it. That was a guy who actually has some authority. And people will listen. I hope people will listen to him because that's the truth. What he spoke was the absolute